Hey, we're back with another recap chat. 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise. 90 Day Fiance is a reality show that follows couples, one from the US, one from another country. It shows how they navigate their international relationship issues, um, navigating language and cultural barriers and all of those scenarios when you're seeing someone from another country. Also possibilities of citizenship and what has to be done in order for the marriage process to take place. It is 90 Day Fiance, when they also talk about that K1 visa, and that's the thing that takes 90 days. All right, so let's get into these couples for Love in Paradise, which is a spinoff of the original series, but they all have that same basic premise. This time, Love in Paradise is based on, the couple, one person from the US and the other person is from some exotic country that's beautiful and amazing. So that's why it's Love in Paradise. All right, so let's get into these couples, Kyle and Annie. Kyle, he's the one that's a professional sperm donor, and Annie's had issues with that, but she's continued the relationship. Most of their relationship has been virtual, but he's come to visit her in her country, and it's been awkward. He's a little bit of a weird guy. He has a lot of rituals when it comes to making sure he has the best sperm for his donation process. And again, sometimes his donation process is the all natural way, which he says works best. So they consummated their relationship, though, Annie said, let's take things slow. They ended up consummating that night that she was at his apartment. And she got, and oh yes, they were unprotected as well. And I did a whole separate spinoff based on faith, love, and trends with that. But you can check it out at cbiztvmedia.com if you're interested. But yeah, so after this whole situation happened, she's like, well, can you get me the morning after pill so I could just make sure, because the ovulation test wasn't clear enough. I just want to make sure that I'm not pregnant. So he says, yeah, sure, kind of in some kind of way that's kind of generalized and open. But in fact, when he comes and arrives for their date, he does not bring the pill. She gets really upset about that. And they kind of argue about his whole sperm donation. She's not happy with it. And he was telling her of some of the recent women that he has donated to in the natural way. And she didn't realize the recentness of that. And she also didn't realize he had taken an STD test, which he was happy to show her was clear, but she was kind of felt like she was a little bit in the dark on some of those scenarios. And she was like, well, I've been honest with you about the fact that I was seeing somebody at the same time that we started talking and you were fine with it. And he said, well, come to think of that, when was the last time you saw that guy? And she admitted like a few days before he came to see her and visit. So then he got upset about that. And so a whole argument ensued. And for me, I like the way that Annie tried to say she was going to take things slow, but seeing that she was also with another guy like 3 days before he even showed up, I feel like she may not be the slow type, so to speak. She may say one thing, mean another. I'm not really sure about her character either at this point, because I had no idea there was another person that was kind of in the mix. He was always questionable with all of his sperm donations the natural way. But now she's still in the midst of another relationship, and then she sleeps with Kyle at the same time. I don't know if she was supposed to be broken up with the other guy. Quite confusing. She's juggling more than one situation here. So she's not as innocent as I thought she was in this whole scenario. But at this point, they're arguing back and forth about these issues that are just now coming out. And she's like, when I even told you about this guy, you seemed like you didn't even care because you were too busy giving your sperm all around the world. She starts to cry. And she's like, you know what? I'm just done. And she walks off. And Kyle looks somewhat disappointed, like he doesn't know what to do and kind of disappointed. And cut to the next couple. And our next couple is Alex and Adriano. For them, again, Alex's family, even her cousin, is giving advice to just maybe she shouldn't move forward with this guy. And she reveals to her cousin that he said he would have a threesome with her. And the cousin is like really shocked and says, "Yeah, just you should just leave this situation alone and this person alone." But he sweeps her up on another fun date. Oh, I have to mention that her aunt also like FaceTimes her or whatever they're using, and also says it's probably not a good idea because they don't have the same values. He doesn't believe in God, and he wants to just have threesomes all the time, and he won't let that go. But he comes up and sweeps her up on another romantic date. It looks like they're on a moped, going through the countryside, going through hills and valleys. It looks like a romance novel, definitely. I mean, there's a situation looks like a Black Girl Magic romance novel. She's African American. Adriano, I believe, is Italian. So it looks fun. It looks romantic, but those issues are really break into the romance of their relationship. You know, it seems very one note with him and with their situation. So they're on like a boat yacht thing, and he jumps in the water, and it's just like they're in some type of big giant ocean. It just looks beautiful, and that's why it's love in paradise. So she's like, I'm not gonna jump in this time, but have fun. He gets back in the boat. They start talking and discussing the whole threesome issue again, and he starts to just laugh it off like a joke, and that really gets her upset. So she starts to cry. She's like, I can't do this. Before she starts to cry, he pours her a little wine. They're supposed to like, okay, we're still having romance fun. And then she just kind of takes her wine, and then she just starts to break down like, no, I don't think I can do this. So on this episode, the reoccurring theme right at this moment is breakups. We saw breakup 1, that was breakup 2. Now we go to Madeline and Luke. Luke was upset because there were rumors that Madeline was sleeping without a top in her bed with another guy. This guy was drunk at a party that I guess she was throwing or something she was doing at their apartment. So she does confess to that, but she says she didn't have her clothes off. She slept in the bed. They were both in the bed together. He was drunk. I assume she was drunk too because she seemed as if she didn't realize what was going on and slept in the bed with some random guy. So she says, I did do that, but she's not apologetic at all. She says, you should trust me that I didn't do anything wrong. You shouldn't even be upset. Well, then Luke is like, well, but look at how this makes me look at it, how it makes us look as a couple, that you're letting someone sleep in the bed. That doesn't make any sense. We're together. We are engaged, about to get married. This just isn't right. And, I guess he's looking for her to reassure him, apologize, say she's not going to do it again. But she continues to fight, saying, I didn't do anything wrong. You should trust me. I'm not going to bow to you and all of this. And I'm not going to beg for you and all of this. And she's like making it be all about her when it should be all about her trying to make things right with this man that she supposedly cares about. But she's very bullheaded in this situation. And Luke says, okay, if you're going to be like this, then we're going to definitely get a prenup. If I hear you do anything like this again, we're definitely going to get this prenup. So they're fighting, and they get a little time to cool off. They're always doing something exotic, something exciting. So I feel like she gets a little time to cool off, and the next day I think they go out on a boat trip, and like it's like a motor skiing type, water ski type thing or something they're doing. And she looks so somber. She has her hair pulled back. She's a little bit dialed down, and she's like, I really love you, and I apologize, and I'm sorry. I don't want to lose you. She kind of talks about her own family issues and how I guess her family's love situation didn't work out. So she says, I really love you and I want this to work. And, he's accepting of that, and it looks like they make up. But in the back of his head, he lets us all know that okay, he appreciates that she's kind of trying to work with the situation and apologize and all of that. But he's saying we're still going to talk about this prenup because it's not over. So she better not think that she's free and clear after this little last conversation that she tries to make up. He tells her to make better decisions, and definitely that prenup is still in play. So Madeline may think she's free and clear to kind of do what she wants. She brats out at times, and he's saying, he said it. This is the second time I think where he said, he's someone more mature. She's 19, man. She's 19. You're 30. And even though the age difference to me is wide, and I think the biggest part is that she's just now becoming an adult. It's pivotal at certain age difference levels. Like if she was like 25 and he was 35, still a 10-year difference, but she may be a little bit more mature, middle of her 20s, a little bit more adult. You're 19 and your person is 30, that means you're not old, but you're kind of getting up there. You're very much an adult at that point. But I do know, again, I've said that guys mature not as fast as girls, but in this case, I feel that she is very immature for a 19-year-old. She likes to get her way, and I don't even know why he signed up to be with this young lady, but he did, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him to help her grow up. He's gonna have to semi-raise her, and that sounds like a lot of fun in a relationship, doesn't it? So we'll see what's gonna happen. They are an interesting couple that I do like to watch. Next up and lastly, Sean and Aaliyah. They have a conversation after the little blowout because Sean kind of divas up a little bit, says, you're not going to be the boss B, and he uses the B word. You're not going to be the boss B of me, baby. Aaliyah, who has now taken over Robert's persona as Aaliyah transitions to be Aaliyah. Sean wasn't really feeling Aaliyah because of the super confidence, the bossy attitude. He liked Robert better because he was a little bit more shy and demure, maybe someone easier to control. That is the question. They have a little dinner together and they kind of try to make amends of the situation and say, well, they did agree upon Sean would not keep the relationship open. Again, this is an open relationship, which I didn't know they were in. And Aaliyah wasn't really happy about that and found out later in the relationship that it was open due to the fact that Sean says, well, since we weren't living in the same country, I guess he needed to get it in. So he couldn't commit fully to Aaliyah because she was totally in a different country and he couldn't get it in, right? But since Aaliyah will be moving in with him, then that won't be an excuse anymore. They're supposedly getting married. He got engaged. He popped the question. Sean did. So they're having a serious conversation about what their future is going to look like. Aaliyah wants to be definitely more conservative as far as their lifestyle, be a regular husband and wife style couple. Though they do live an alternative lifestyle, but Aaliyah wants a more conservative husband and wife lifestyle, and Sean's like, I'll go along with it, I guess. I'm not saying that he's really pulling back against it, but he's now talking about the previous friend with benefits that he used to always hang out with. And Aaliyah's like, well, all of your past people that you've been kind of being with, you're close to them, you know them well, you have a connection with them, and I don't like the fact that you've had these strong connections with these people. It's better if it's someone that's a stranger, because you can just have a sexual relationship with them and let them go. They don't mean as much to you, but because these people are close to you, you've built friendships with them, they mean more to you, and then you're having a sexual relationship, then Aaliyah feels kind of threatened by that and said, I need you to kind of distance yourself from all those people you've been having sex with, even people that were your friends. because he had friends with benefit scenarios. Sean's like, there's one particular person, I don't feel like I want to let them go. I basically said that some people I will, but some people mean something to me, and I'm not going to completely eliminate them from my life. I guess he agrees to distance himself from them. Of course, he's not going to sleep with them any longer, but he still wants to have their friendship or have a connection with them. So, not sure how Leah's going to take that and how Leah wants to move forward, because Sean hasn't really kind of come out of the dark to me, and really because he was twisted in between. He always seemed a little bit more supportive, but unsure you will be happy with the Leah who used to be Robert. But in these last couple episodes, he's come out as a diva in the situation. It's like, hey, I'm going to run this relationship. I'm the male figure of this relationship, and I'm going to take charge. This is how I feel. And you're just going to have to follow suit. So I don't know if Aaliyah would like to continue in this relationship. Sean is quite older than Aaliyah. I believe Aaliyah is in their 20s. I'll say mid-20s. I may be a little bit off on that number, but Sean is much older than that. So we'll see if everybody can figure things out and work things out on 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise. I mean, like, I haven't watched this show faithfully since the beginning. I've stepped into certain seasons and looked here and there, and I know the last season I looked at, all of the couples kind of ended up looking like they weren't going to stay together. All of them looked like they kind of broke up. There was really no happily ever after, so to speak, like 90 Day Happily Ever After for those that follow the 90 Day Fiance universe. So I don't know if this franchise is doomed. I don't know if it is the fact that there's love in paradise, if it's the paradise, if it's the exotic environment that's making people fall in love, or if they really do want to take this person home with them and live a lifestyle of marriage, have forever with them. They're talking about it, but it seems like they're getting more caught up in the exotic scenery and the romance. Not sure if they're going to carry that over into real life and just have a everyday till death do us part relationship. So I'm not sure if this franchise is doomed, but I know that it's interesting, and I'll probably continue to follow 90 Day Fiance. Love in Paradise, guys, there's so many of them. There's 90 Day, the original, there's Love in Paradise, there's The Other Way. We'll be talking about those in the future. There's Happily Ever After, there's Diaries. Sometimes I catch one here and there. I think I'm most faithful. I think my favorite is The Other Way. That's the one that really got me. And before the 90 days, that one I haven't seen too much of that, but that one was good for me. That really got me into it. And then The Other Way really got me in. All right, guys, we'll talk again next time right here on CBiz Media, Faith, Love, and Trends. This is Irene. All the best. God bless.